haven't done this in a minute, but let's just go ahead and get straight to it. So the movie opens up with this lady walking out of the American embassy, and then a bomb just completely explodes on like the 30th floor. I ain't gonna lie, that's how you open up a movie, dog. Come on now. Then we cut to the men who single-handedly canceled out racism. Detective James Carter and Inspector Lee. And while they're vibing to the music in the car, Lee gets a phone call from the head commissioner of the Hong Kong Police Department. And he basically gives Lee the rundown about the explosion at the United States Embassy. He tells Lee that he believes the infamous crime lord over in Hong Kong named Ricky Tan is behind it. So he gives Lee this address of this club to go to, and he tells Carter that they're going there for vacation, when really they going there to stop Ricky Tan, the gang lord. So when they get inside the club, Lee tells Carter to blend in and act like he's a terrorist. But instead of just sitting down and act like a normal civilian, Carter hears the Asian guy on stage singing Michael Jackson, and he is singing it out of tune, out of key, and all in all just ruining a classic. So Carter takes it upon himself to go up on the stage, take the microphone, and he puts on an absolute show. Like, this dude had all the women in the club like all up on him, bruh. But then when Lee sees, he spills the beans and tells Carter that they're actually there undercover looking for Ricky Tan. So Carter obviously get upset, but instead of just sulking about it, he goes on stage and he starts interrogating everyone in the audience about who knows Ricky Tan. Now the funny part about this is that no one in the audience can understand a word that he's saying. So then he tells Lee to start translating for him, but when he starts translating, he makes jokes about how Carter is drunk. And while Carter is mid talking to brick walls because no one can understand what he's saying, Lee sees the daughter or whatever this is to Ricky Tan, and he starts chasing after her and her gang. This leads to the famous bamboo tower scene, and I love this scene so much. And you wanna know what I can do? I get to analyze some boxing. Let's get into it. So Lee and her gang went out the club, and Lee follows right behind them. And shortly after, Carter exits the club and he follows them. Lee and her gang decide to climb up this bamboo scaffolding, and Lee follows right behind them. And when Carter tries to climb up, he sees a dude fall from the top, and he says, "No, I'm taking the stairs." And as a black man in this situation, I would do the exact same thing. Cause there's no way you just telling me I watched the dude fall from 50 feet in the air at least and plummet to his death. No way. So then we cut back to Lee doing his thing, he's beating up people on the bamboo. But I want to take a look at this specific move right here. It's the last guy, and it's a one-on-one situation. Like, I genuinely love this scene so much. I don't think y'all understand. So Jackie throws the dude off the building, and he almost falls to his death, but he stays on and climbs back up, and they get to duking it out on this little platform right here. And then we see Carter running up the stairs, and he gets stopped by this old lady who tells him to move aside. And I want y'all to look at the name that she says. Now I want you to take a look at this picture of Kobe Bryant, rest his soul, and I want you to take a look at Chris Tucker. Now I'm gonna put them side by side. Do these two look anything alike? I didn't think so. So then we cut back to Lee and the dude on the scaffolding platform, and they are trading blocks and kicks and punches. My bad, I thought it was a one-on-one situation. But this other dude comes in with a drop kick, sneaking Lee, and he falls into a window. Now watch this immense and peak balance. And keep in mind, Jackie Chan is doing all of these stunts. Into the window, a roundabout, block, punch, kick, and then he ties him up with one of the shirts on the hangers. That is how you take down a triad, Jackie Chan style. So then Lee starts to climb back to the top of the bamboo structure, and when he gets there, the shorty from the club hits him across the chest with a bamboo stick, and she hits him again dead in his chest, causing him to fall almost off the building. But thankfully he catches onto a string of bamboo, and he hangs on for dear life. And just as she's about to finish him off, Carter finally reaches the top of the building, and he bangs on the door until it opens. And when he goes over to help Lee, she knocks him over on the edge as well. So now Lee and Carter are both hanging above at least a 100-foot drop from the structure. And right as Lee says Chinese bamboo is very strong, it starts to break. And then eventually the piece of bamboo breaks and they start tumbling down. And then we get this iconic line right here. I can't believe I flew 10,000 miles for this shit. And then they both just fall through this little structure thingy right down here. At least it wasn't from all the way at the top of the building. That would have been disastrous. So then we cut to the next day where Lee and Carter are in this car, and they pull up in front of this massage parlor. And oh my goodness, the women in this massage parlor are so bad. Like, the masseuses in there are literally the baddest Asians I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen so many fine Asians, dude. And when the lady tells Carter he can pick whichever one he wants to massage him, oh, he start going crazy. He pick about 5 or 6 girls. So then we cut to where they're actually getting their massages, and then Lee sees a dude walk in with a white robe on. This dude just so happens to be Ricky Tan. So Carter decides to go over there without Lee, without any protection, without any backup. And when Ricky Tan refuses to get up and go with Carter to the police station, Carter decides to smash his laptop, not knowing that every single person in there was really rolling with Ricky Tan. This dude really had no idea Ricky was like that. My son Ricky was really dangerous. So then Lee comes over there, but at this point it's too late. Ricky Tan walks out and then the fight begins. And I ain't gonna lie, Carter and Lee low-key put the beats on the triads. Watch this move right here though. Carter flips Lee, and when Lee gets up, he lands a 2-piece punch combo on this dude right here. So then after this pretty cool fight between the triads and Lee and Carter, whoever these guys are, they come in and they escort Lee and Carter out. Then we see Lee and Carter back at the police station arguing in an office. We then cut to later on in the movie and we see Lee in a car listening to Dick. And the song on the radio that's playing is I'll Be Missing You. Now the reason this is playing is because earlier on in the movie, whenever Carter was leaving the office, before I explain that, do you remember the lady earlier on in the movie with the bomb? Yeah, she brought another package up to the police station and it was another bomb. So now we fast forward to where we are now. We see Carter boarding this big old yacht. And on this said yacht, we see Lee going downstairs into the other room. And then we cut to a shot of this fine woman right here. So in usual Carter fashion, Carter approaches this fine woman. And her name just happens to be Isabella. And we find out that she's Mexican, bro. Like, just listen to this accent.
This is your yacht?
Bro, I promise you, if I'm in that situation, pants, drawers, everything, they coming off. So then Carter gets his bluff called about him lying about it being his yacht, and the yacht owner actually walks over and takes Isabella away with him. But do not worry, my friends, we are going to see a lot more of her in this movie. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit. It's only a little minor part we gotta skip. Lee finds out that Carter isn't actually dead, and then he goes to the deck to have a conversation with Ricky Tan. Then we see Lee on the top of the deck, and she shoots Ricky Tan straight in the chest. I did not see this coming. The daughter then shot her father. Ain't this a messed up world we live in? And she ends up getting away, and then the Hong Kong embassy come by the yacht and they pull Lee and Carter from the case. So Lee and Carter hop on a flight and they go back to LA. And while they're staying in this hotel, they see the woman from the yacht in the next hotel over. And this scene is so hilarious, bro. This is something that me and one of my homeboys would do, I promise you. So Carter is tired, so he hands Lee the binoculars and has him spy, well not spy, but watch her. Is it technically spy? Nah, it's not. And in the midst of them spying on her, she starts undressing, and this dude Lee just cannot contain himself, bro. This dude starts sweating. He starts moving around and squirming like he anxious. Like, you know that feeling whenever you're in public and you gotta pee or you gotta fart and like you just can't do it? That is exactly what he's going through here, but with the horniness. But he sees more than just that. He sees the same lady that not only took the bomb that blew up the United States embassy, but also took the bomb that blew up in the Hong Kong embassy. So this can only mean one thing. She's trying to blow Isabella up. So Lee and Carter decide to run over to her hotel building, and when they get there, they snatch the bomb and they take it to the roof and they throw it. But when they throw it, for some reason it doesn't go off. Then we see Isabella come out looking furious, and she starts pressing Carter and Lee. She tells them it's not a bomb, and then later she exposes to him that it's fake cash. So then we skip to the next day and we see Lee and Carter entering this hotel lobby, and then this dude just starts taking off running, and he goes to the back of the building where the entire gang of triads is waiting on Lee and Carter. And then you want to know who we see? We see Isabella. Yeah, the same Isabella who was on that yacht, the same Isabella who was undressing in the hotel room. Yeah, we see her, and she knocks Lee in the back of the head with a gun, knocking him out. And then the triads and Lee start pressing Carter, and with force they take him into the truck and they load the trucks up and they send him out. So then we cut to the inside of the truck where we see Carter and Lee tied up, but they eventually escape, and they find out that the statues in the truck are made of money. Now Ricky Tan's operation is to launder $100 million in cash, and I ain't never done nothing like that, but I ain't gonna lie, this is a smart idea. So then the truck eventually eventually comes to a stop, and then when these two dudes go in the truck to see what happened and why one of the statues on the ground and broken, Carter and Lee both laid him out with right hands, and then they run out the truck. Then Lee has to deal with these two other guys. He shoves them in the trash can, and then they try to find their way out of this parking garage. And they eventually do find their way out, but they also find themselves inside the sewers. So after running through the sewers for God knows how long, they finally come outside to the exit, and they see a big old club that says Red Dragon. I don't know if I said it earlier, but that was the name of the yacht. And you want to know whose yacht it actually was? Not the rich white guy that walked up to Isabella, and it sure wasn't Carter's, but it ended up being Ricky Tan's yacht. And then when Carter puts two and two together, he realized that the casino is the forefront for the $100 million in laundered cash. Hey, low-key, this sound like a GTA heist or something, bro. So instead of going in there in their dingy and stinky suits, they decided to go to this dressing store. Now this scene is so unimportant, it couldn't be more important. I just decided to throw it in here because it's funny. So the dude in there is gay, and he mistakes Carter and Lee for a couple, but eventually they get their suits and they head into the Red Dragon casino. And the game plan is simple. Carter is going to cause a distraction by gambling at the table. Lee's gonna sneak into the back of the casino, find the gambling operation and bust it. And job well done, nobody gets scammed, Ricky Tan gets taken to prison, and the triads get taken care of. But it's not that simple. So the first step of the plan is complete. Carter causes a distraction. Then Lee sneaks into the bag, but then the security cameras all focus on him. And literally not even 5 seconds later, all the security in the Red Dragon is chasing after Lee. And he makes it past the first round of security, but then Lee hits him with a kick while he's running towards the hallway. She puts a bomb in his mouth and tells him that if he makes one wrong move, I'm not gonna lie, that's OD levels of savagery. So then Lee gets taken to this back room where we see this dude in a suit watching the window. And you want to know who's in the suit? Ricky Tan. Yes, you heard me correctly. The same Ricky Tan who Lee shot dead in the middle of the ocean. He is somehow alive and well and fully operational. And you want to know who else we see? Isabella. Oh my god, she is about as going as MJ was in Spider-Man. And my nigga, she was going! Yo, this whole thing is just a mess, bro. Oh my god. So then we see the security camera footage from the penthouse, and the rich white guy from the boat, yeah, him, Ray, he's going into the penthouse so he can backstab Ricky Tan and take all the money for himself. So Ricky Tan leaves the casino, heads over to the penthouse, and he leaves Lee in the palm of the hands of Lee. And then you know what happens? We see Isabella flip the script and point a gun towards Lee. And right as Lee is about to press the button to detonate the bomb in Lee's mouth, Lee kicks the detonator button out of her hand, and then an all-out brawl breaks out. Lee wraps up these 3 security guards with ease, and Lee and Isabella start fighting. And then there's a gunshot that goes off, which startles the entirety of the club, which makes it 10 times harder now for Lee to find the detonator button. But it doesn't take him a long time to find Carter. He's still over at the same table betting and gambling. But when he sees Lee is in trouble, he stops and he goes to help him. So instead of trying to go and get the detonator, Carter untapes Lee's mouth. He spits the bomb out, and when Lee blows the bomb up, Carter and Lee jump out of the way of the explosion. So Carter and Lee try to escape the casino, but a spear is thrown and it stops Carter in his tracks. And now we finna see the ultimate square off between Carter and Lee. So Lee goes off to the penthouse, and Carter and Lee are about to fight. So after they go at it for a little bit and Carter holds his own for long enough, Lee grabs one of the spears from the statues and she stabs Carter in the chest. And when she goes to walk away, she goes out in the saddest way possible. One of the spears from the statue flings up and it knocks her in the face, and she gets knocked cold out. Then we cut back to my goat on the ground, and honestly at this point I thought it was over, but thankfully the Benjamin saved him. So then we cut to the penthouse where Ray is there trying to get the money and dip. Then we see Ricky Tan pull up and he stabs Ray in the chest. Bro, what's up with everybody getting stabbed in the chest? Then Lee walks in, and then Ricky Tan starts taunting Lee about his father, and this dude Lee was ready to catch a body right there on sight. Then we see Carter walk in and he tries to talk him out of it. That is before Ricky Tan starts talking way crazy about Lee's pops. So then Carter starts encouraging Lee to pull the trigger, but then he gets distracted by Carter and Ricky Tan knocks the gun out of his hand. And then when he tries to go get the gun, Carter sweeps the rug from up under him, causing him to fall face first. But he still ends up getting the gun, and when he fires it at Lee, he dodges and then he hits a jumping sidekick, causing Ricky Tan to fall out the window and crash and die. And then everything's over, right? No, we see this crazy psychotic Japanese girl who Lee come back in there with a bomb. Then she starts speaking Japanese and saying some type of death before this honor speech, and the bomb explodes with her in the room in it. Thankfully, Lee and Carter were able to jump out the window and use their jackets as kind of like a support beam to zip line across and get away from the explosion. And that's the movie, y'all. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoy watching this as much as I did making it. I want to wish you guys a happy new year. I know it's like 3 weeks late almost, but I am here, I'm back, and I'm ready for 2026. We got some bigger and better things coming this year. I got a collab video coming at some point. I'm gonna give y'all a bunch of more. I'm gonna start being more consistent, all of that, bro. You have my word. And of course, y'all already know the drill. Make sure you like, comment what you want to see next, and subscribe. We're on the road to 200 subscribers. Guys, we hit 100 last year. Before the end of the year, I think we can hit 200 before the end of the year this year. And as always, y'all have a great day. Stay blessed, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, shit. BBL, she playing. I might go settle in. I had it settle in. Make notes on my residence. Big packets on here.